Let me get into creating effective objectives or creating effective goals. I don't know if you have a long-term goal, but do you have, I just like calling it your ultimate goal. And you can have more than one ultimate goal. They usually would be in different types of categories of your life, right? Employment, education, family, experience, community, society, what have you. And you can have, multiple, like I said, ultimate goals. If you have any desires, then I would probably just say, well, how do you articulate that into an ultimate goal? Do you want to become a baron of industry or a captain of finance or what have you? Do you want to be an educator? Do you want to be a doctor, a professor, or what have you, right? And so whatever your ultimate goals are, focus on one of them for right now and sit down and figure out where you want to end up in this facet of your life. Again, it could be employment, education, experience, family, community, society, what have you. And so this is for you to do. This is for what you really want. If you really want to obtain things that you really want, these desires that you have, then you have to start planning. The old cliche, right, is failing to plan is planning to fail. And so once you kind of understand what it is you want to end up in, again, it could be the president of a company, the owner of a company, a doctor in education, a doctor in science, a subject matter expert, or a journeyman with experience. Or do you want to get married? Do you want to marry that, the perfect mate and be a parent, grandparent, have a big family, have lots of grandchildren? Do you want to be a volunteer, a politician, a statesman? Where is it that you want to end up? What is that pinnacle in that part of and facet of your life that you want to end up at? Do you want to be at the top? Do you just want to be there are people, believe me, there are people that do not want to be a leader. There are people that do not want to be, up high in management. They just enjoy doing the work. That's all they want to do. And if you're a person like me, you just have a hard time understanding people like that. But there are people that are like that. I got in trouble once by telling people that is this what you want to do the rest of your life? And some of those people actually wanted to do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that, like I said, it's hard for me. And I actually had to apologize to some of those folks and I told them honestly, I said, it is hard for me to understand how somebody can find solace and gratification and happiness in just doing the work day in, day out. And in some respects, some of these people just find a security that they know that if they, do their job and they're good at what they do, then they have, a good firm grip of their job. People that take risks, people that want to be a leader and literally have to, take risks in leading in a company or whatever it is you're doing. And those are some of the things I had to do. I had to take risks. And when you do that, you could lose your job pretty easily. Fortunately, I never lost my job. And fortunately, I was good at mitigating risks. But you have to learn how to do those things. And so whatever it is you believe you want to achieve as your ultimate goal, then you have to start understanding what are the steps or the midterm goals you need to reach your ultimate goal. Okay, so if you understand these midterm steps, there's a term for them. They're called strategic goals. Okay? A strategic goal is a long-term goal. It's not something you're going to obtain today, but a strategic goal is something that you have to, that you got to do. This is the first strategic step. And let's just use education for a good example. If you want to become a PhD, a leader in thought, in academia or what have you, and get government grants in mathematics or in science or archaeology or whatever it is, and that's the pursuit you want to go down. then there are strategic goals that you need to set that will allow you to become successful in doing that. And some strategic goals would be easily getting your bachelor's degree. If you've got your bachelor's degree, then the next step would be your master's degree. Where do you go for that? Your next step would be your PhD, of course, your thesis, and then obtaining grants or whatever. Now, this can apply to, technical skills as well, business, management, and even marriage. Now, let's take a turn here and get away from academia, work, and so forth. And how do we put this into a family perspective? If you are, if you're not married, and if you are, this may be good advice. If that marriage doesn't work out, and I don't want to say that, but if you are not married, if you're in pursuit of having a family, and so if you're young and you're, just getting started, then where is it that you want to meet your mate? And I would highly suggest that your mate, whether that be husband or wife, would be somebody that is, one aligned with you. And I have always found that the worst place to find somebody would be in a bar, looking for a good time, looking for a buzz, a fulfillment, a temporary fulfillment in life. That is literally probably the worst place, because there's less chance that you will, find things that you mesh with. Some of the best places would be in your church. Another best place would be somebody that is pursuing bettering themselves, like going to school, education, in college, or what have you. There's lots of people that may meet, they're at school and they meet at a party or what have you, but they're in the school process. They're a church party or what have you, because it's in the social sphere, not in the necessary worship or in the confessional and those types of places that you would lend to meeting and having a social relationship with other people, the opposite sex specifically. But anywho, the looking for somebody in a condition or in a place where they are in the process of bettering themselves, then you have a really good chance of having a lot of commonalities. Having commonalities is good. Differences, sometimes attract, and opposites and so forth. But I'm telling you, having commonalities is important, because if you are, if it's only a religious thing, but you don't like the same kind of music, you don't like the same kind of art, you don't like the same kind of entertainment, then there's a lot of things that you have to either learn to overcome and grow together. And that takes a lot of work and effort. But 9 times out of 10, there's a good likelihood that if you're both bettering yourself and you're both doing into the same kind of pursuits and so forth, then there's probably a better likelihood that there are those alignments in those types of things. Anyway, before I run out of time here, I don't want to, completely get sucked into, how to have a perfect marriage, but I will tell you that you want to make sure as you're, interviewing the resumes of those who you're dating in college or at church or what have you, make sure that you actually have those commonalities because those are footings that you build upon. And it's the same thing with education. As you start taking classes, you don't want to just willy-nilly take classes. You understand what you need to take to get a very particular degree, and the schools kind of make it easy for you. But if you're looking to go into and create a hybrid type of specialty where you're bringing in specific types of sciences with computer sciences and so forth, then, you have to kind of figure out those types of courses and the types of degrees that you need to get into this new unique niche within academia, science, and so forth. But anyway, so let me move on. The bottom line is, if you understand what your ultimate goal is, you should be setting strategic goals that are the big leaps that you need to make that take a lot of time. In other words, 4 years, 5 years, maybe 8 years, or what have you. And sometimes the time it takes in doing that may have a lot to do with your maybe you don't have the money for schooling, so you have to stretch that out a lot instead of taking on debt. That would be the smart way of doing it. I'm out of time.